Hi there, I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I observed and some of the questions that I have about what I saw. Firstly, in Notting Hill Carnival, um, I went there and I sort of observed what was going on. I caught some little bit of footage, which I'm going to put here.
What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Just calm down, just calm down. Calm down.
What, put it in my pocket?
Take some breath, take some breath.
Put it in my pocket.
Take some breath, brother. Take some breath.
When you find nothing, you're going to feel like a dickhead, innit?
No, he's not. He's going to apologise, aren't you, sir? If you don't find anything, I hope you'll apologise. Yeah.
Bro.
By the way, you don't have to give them your details. You don't have to give them your details. Do they need to have the cuffs on? Guys, why has he got the cuffs on?
So am I speaking to you?
That's very rude. That's a really rude.
Why he's got the cuffs on, right?
Yeah. Why? What's that? Why has he got the cuffs on?
It has been explained to him why he's got cuffs on.
No, but have you found anything on him?
It has been explained to him.
Yeah, but if you haven't found anything on him, can't you take them off?
Did we find something on your friend? Yes, we did. Did you find anything on me? Did your friend have a knife? Did you find anything on me? Did you find anything on me?
Alright, let's not go here. Okay, it's been explained. Okay, we're just going to do a name check. Alright? What's your surname?
Wait, ask them if you've convicted any. Has he done anything? Has he broken the law? Has he committed a crime? You only have to give him your name. You only have to give him your name. You only have to give him your name if you've committed a crime. If you're suspected of committing a crime, then you have to give your name.
What I saw was that there were about 100 police officers. This was at just one entrance, scattered a little bit around, and they were searching lots and lots of almost exclusively black men. I saw one white man. I mean, obviously the whole white and black thing is just an all illusion, but you know what I mean. They did actually, when I was there for about an hour and a half, I saw them catch about 3 or 4 people with knives. Now, even that is questionable because, if there's a law that we're not allowed to protect ourselves with weapons, you see, I was thinking to myself, why would a young black man with any sense go to a carnival with a knife, knowing that there are loads of policemen there, knowing surely they must know that the likelihood is that they could easily be stopped. Why would they go with a knife? And the only 2 possible explanations are: A, they're just so vicious that they're there deliberately to attack someone for I don't know what reason, or 2, that they have to carry them for their own protection. I know nothing about gangs, but I'm guessing that those 2 explanations are probably the only explanations of why you would have a knife on you. So at first you think, well, it's good that the police are there stopping them, and then you think, well, hold on a second, if you're very wealthy, if you're a member of any royal family all over the world, or just a very wealthy man or woman, you can have armed guards, so it seems that there's not just one rule for us and one rule for them. But okay, let's let that one go, but that's just a little question. Anyway, they stop these guys, and 90% of them have got nothing on them. Yeah. So you'd think that if things were as they make out for them to be, if the police were really here to to protect all of us, you'd think that after searching someone, and especially a black person, right, who's probably been searched many times, yeah, if you search someone and you don't find anything, in my opinion, what I would do is profusely apologize and let them get on with their day. But that's not what the police are trained to do. And what's so clever about this is that they are unaware of the trickery which they are playing with us, the people. They're not aware of it. So, firstly, of course, of the people that don't have the weapons, there are some people who have got herbs on them, plants on them, and that they get stolen. These guys get kidnapped. They get stolen. They steal their vegetables or herbs, and then they steal more money from them, and they make them come to these courts where or everyone in the court agrees that it's wrong to have this vegetable. So there's that whole drugs thing going on. But then the 85 or 90% that have got neither drugs nor weapons on them, they don't apologise to them. What they do is they trick them into giving their details because they've been trained to get details. And they don't realise that they're tricking them. This is just my opinion, right? And what they do is they use, the obvious, most basic trick that any magician uses throughout his magic, which is distraction. And it's done through questioning. See, everything is all about the questioning, and often, half the time, people who are asking the questions have just been trained to do so by whoever it is. Might not be Hendon Training School, it might be their parents or in school, etc., etc. So what they do is, after they've done this search and violated, because, I watch these guys getting searched. It's not enjoyable. I don't want some bloke putting their hands all over me and putting their hands in my pockets, right? After they've done their search, instead of saying, really sorry, we had to do this because of that, and really, really sorry we didn't find anything, humble apologies, what they ask is a very clever question, which is, do you have any identification on you? Now, anybody that knows anything about sales is sales often, unfortunately, sales is about trying to persuade people to do things that they either don't want to do or aren't sure that they want to do. In this case, I'd say the majority of the people, if given the choice, know full well that they do not want to give their details to the police. Why would you? There's no benefit whatsoever in giving your details to the police. And so what this question does, by asking a person, do you have any identification on you? What it does is it distracts you from the fact that you've just been violated. It distracts you from the question of whether you want to give your details or not, and it makes you think about whether you've got identification on you. And so what happens is that in the overwhelming majority of cases, they get the information after they found nothing out of the person that they've searched. Now, they know full well that the person who searched doesn't have to give the information. But the way they've been trained to ask these questions, they just use that's called the alternative close or the assumptive close in business sales. So what you do is you assume, knowing full well it's not really the case, you assume that the person wants to give the details. You just ask it in a way of like, oh, so do you want to give the details? Like that, yeah. Okay, so what's your first name? Like that. And their excuse for it when I challenge them, saying, hey, what are you doing? They don't have to give their details. Well, we're not forcing them to give their details. If they don't want to give their details, then they don't give their details. But they do. Of course, the reason why they do is because they're being approached by a force who often force people to do things. And if that they've got their rules that if we don't give them their details and they do suspect us of committing a crime, then we can get arrested. So that's a clever trick that they're doing. Now, the thing is, to trick people out of giving your details, one could argue is really not the end of the world. So what? So they give their details. I mean, people are putting all their details online all the time. Yeah. So is it such a big deal that they've got their details? Well, not really. But what it does do is it exposes something that people like myself and many of you have known for a long time, that this is clearly just another indication that even though they're not aware of it, people who work for the police are not working for us. They are working and they are tricking us into and extorting information out of us. They're extorting information out of us, they're extorting money out of us when it comes to drugs, and they're extorting our property out of us when it comes to plants and mushrooms. I mean, I was saying yesterday to the police, I was saying, is that a courgette I spot on you? I think I'm going to confiscate it and, I'll bring you in front of my friends who have got an objection to courgettes. So that was the Notting Hill Carnival.